Under Section 7, 8.6 of the Education Act, it is legal to home educate your SEN child. You won't have been told that because teachers, schools, they don't want you to know that. They're a business and they depend on having numbers. For each child, they get a certain amount of funding. This is why they have to look good for Ofsted and get ratings. Now, if you've got an autistic child with additional needs, I don't know, and they're nervous and they're melting down and they're crying and they're begging you not to go to school and they're getting bullied and you're thinking, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. You don't have to do it anymore because it's legal to home educate your child. And I know you're thinking, oh, but it's so much. How would I let them down? Would I put the right things in place? Yes, you will. You can go to the Khan Academy online. That's free tutoring service. They send your child work, they do it, send it back. You can access Twinkle and loads of other things online that you can print things off. If you haven't got a printer, you can do it in your local library. It's not sit down work if your child doesn't want to do that. A lot of our children are ADHD. They find sitting down and concentrating very hard. So you can do it in other ways. Cooking together, it's maths and science. Working out a budget for a shopping list, maths and life skills. Going to the library, reading a story together, listening to a play together, watching a film together, a documentary. It's all literacy. You don't realise how much you do at all as parents. And I think there's such a rhetoric of, you know, they have to be in school, they have to be in school. How will they socialise? How, you know, you're failing them if you don't put them in school. It's not true at all. I don't know why as parents we are told, you know, we've managed to teach our children to walk, but they do it themselves, but you help, you know, give them encouragement and support. You've taught them how to eat with a knife and fork, or even just with their fingers. You know, you've brought them the food, you've encouraged them and shown them how to do things. And then suddenly, as soon as they're of school age, school's like, well, we'll take over now because you can't. So, you know, we'll do it all. And it doesn't have to be like that at all. And it breaks my heart that next week I'm going to see so many posts with parents that are crying. They've just got home, they've left their child in a terrible state, and they've done it because they don't realise they don't have to do it. And they think they're doing the best thing for their child because professionals will tell them it's the right thing, and it's not always. No matter how accommodating a school can be, they cannot control crowding, smells, textures, colours, expressions on people's faces, bullying, if it's happening. They can't control those things. It's not something that they can take away. So please, don't feel that there's no other option, that's all. All right. You can also ask about flexi schooling, where your child goes in part-time each day. Hi, waving at my son. Yeah, there are options. There are things you can do. And if you need any support at all, please contact us. I'll put our email and website on this post. I'll put a template. Copy the template exactly if you're deregistering your child. It has to be this wording. All right, send it in by email in the evening. That way you get an email saying this office is now closed. It acts as a receipt that you've sent it. And don't think for 1 minute that you're going to fail your child, because you're not. And there is a thriving home education community out there. We run home ed groups that are run during the day on a Thursday, and the amount of kids we have coming now that have come out of school, kids that I've personally helped their parents deregister them from school that have been in a terrible state, that are so much happier now. So yeah, just don't feel that there's no other choice, because there is. All right, if it gets to Monday, Tuesday and your child's sobbing and you're feeling really down and you're thinking, I can't do this every day to them, don't. Bye. We have 3 lovely mums here who have home educated or are home educating, and they want to send a message to any parent who's considering it but thinks that they won't be able to do it because they'll fail their child in some way. How did it go for you, or how is it going for you?
Who's going first?
I'll go first. I feel that when I took my daughter out, at that point that was the best thing that I could do, as the school failed her completely. Coming here, you know, she could do her cooking, she met friends, she could socialise, do days out and everything, and even go to another little group on the Monday. She did want to go back to school. She went back to another setting which was a lot better for her. But I think if you feel that's what you need to do as a parent to help your child do it, definitely. To help them and their mental health, you should do it.
Yeah, but everyone questions their self because you think you're going to follow the curriculum.
Yeah. No.
And it's not a curriculum you need to follow.
No.
I literally, when I home educated my first one, he come here on a Thursday, and Friday went to my mum's and done cooking all day long. That was the nanny's boy though, so he enjoyed that. And then we done our own sort of learning, but we didn't start off with English, Maths and Science because he wasn't prepared to do English, Maths and Science. We done life skills. We learned how to sew. We learned how to cook. And then he would go with recipes, all the ingredients down, and without even knowing he was doing maths because he had to add it up in the shop. It was done in a way that he found fun.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to his twin going to secondary school, that really upset him because he watched how excited he was and he wanted to go back to school. He is now in a SEN setting and I can't fault the setting. He loves it there. He's happy, he has friends. Whereas his twin now is off school and would never go back to school. He doesn't want to go back, but he socialises, he does kickboxing, he comes here, he goes to the gym, he's out all the time, but he also does his learning. He does maths with me, he does English with a tutor, and does normal life skill stuff. We went from a part-time timetable to being excluded all the time, to then I couldn't get him out of his bed. Now he's the happiest child in the world, and I can... Learning's easy, it's done around him. So it's literally, we do stuff like, he's obsessed with kickboxing, so we go through the history of kickboxing, where it come from, and how it started, and even down to maths and English around, let's design a gym. And how would you pay the person? So he's doing English and maths, but in a way that how a school wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And he left school in year 8, reading at a 7-year-old's level. He's now doing Romeo and Juliet with his tutor. So
wow.
The difference in that time and learning around him is amazing.
They work better, I think.
At their own
they're
pace.
learning at their level, rather than what the school says they have to learn at because they're just put under too much pressure.
It's
He's
so
never going to
many
fit
as
in the
well.
box.
No, and with Emmy, it was so many different lessons. And if she was doing something, she wanted to finish it. She didn't want to finish it in that
The next day,
20 minutes or the next day,
Yeah.
and then move on to the next thing. So that became frustrating. So she would sit under a table.
Yeah.
But I honestly didn't think you could take them out. I thought you had to pay yourself for like a private tutor to do exactly what the school was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could take her out.
Yeah, I thought you got fined if you took them out and whatnot, because you look at it as the attendance side of it, but...
They try to scare you like that a lot.
Yeah, they
and
told
even
Emmy
when I sent that
about
letter,
prison.
well, I sent that letter in about that I was going to home educate and straight away. I'm like, are you sure? Well, you know you're not going to get any help from us. Well, I don't want your curriculum because the improvement I see in my children in that time is unreal. And as I say, my boy that's not in school now is home educated. We spoke about, do you want to go back in September? And he's made it very clear that if I did send him back, it would only be for the day and that he'd be back home. So we're not even going there. We're carrying on how we're going. It's amazing how it works. And he is happy again. He is the most bubbliest child, and I watched him go to nothing. He is the most confident, wrong answer child as well. And he went to nothing, wasn't sleeping, wasn't anything. Now I've got my wild child back, who... that he is a character, and I lost that, and I was very, very shocked because he is so confident.
I think the longer you hold it out as well, I wish I'd have done it before, because now I'm
more
having
damage.
to undo that damage, and the hard bit isn't homeschooling, it's trying to get through the trauma that she's been left with.
And literally you'll go 6 months down the line and you'll still hear something about how what happened, and you didn't even know half the stuff what has happened or what
Yeah,
was said
yeah.
or how they felt.
A lot of the times the kids will think that you know because you took them to school, so surely you must know what's
Yeah.
happening there because they know what's happening
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how it is.
Because you trust the teachers and you say to them, you know, go in, why do you do this? I didn't know why Emmy was attacking teachers and I'm sort of telling her off. But it wasn't until I pulled her out, once she felt confident enough to talk to me, that actually they were attacking her first. You know,
Restraining
they were
her and
her.
everything
Yeah.
else, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas with River, a man raises his voice, River turns around straight away because that's when I did take him out. He had the deputy head in his head screaming at him, go on, hit me.
Yeah.
I dare you to hit me.
Oh,
Yeah, and you
wow.
can't deal with raised voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which everyone knows his temper, so that's what they wanted. They would
Oh,
want
yeah.
him down that road,
Provoking him.
Yes, exactly.
but then blame the child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you don't want him there and you can't meet needs, and then at the end when he was expelled, it was, well, we can't meet his
Just
needs
tell
anyway.
them. You know,
But they'll say they
long
can
time
because
ago.
they want the funding for each pupil.
Yeah.
But they tried part-time and all of that, and it just went, I was
Yeah.
picking him up by 9:30. I was literally dropping him off and turning back round. It was pointless at the
Yeah.
end. We weren't getting anywhere.
Yeah.
But Emmy mixes with more people now than she did. Because
So-
she wouldn't go in the
it's
lunch
so-
hall because of smell,
Yeah.
so she was trying to take her. So in the end, she was refusing lunch and hiding, not going into lunch. Now, like if we go out anywhere, it's understood. If she wants to sit by herself at a table,
Yeah.
as long as she's in eyesight, she can eat her lunch
Yeah.
there. And,
They're not
and
forced to do
no,
something that they
yeah.
don't want to do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no, mine are all, as they, I've got one back in school, amazing, can't fault it. But that time, from year 5 till year 6, that was home and that was needed.
Gave him time to recover, didn't
That
it?
that was, we would never have gone to secondary school if I kept him in primary school.
Yeah.
Because so much damage would have been
So-
done.
Yeah.
Whereas Riv lasted a little bit longer, but was expelled all the time, part-time timetable, but Riv also enjoyed being in trouble as well. So it got to that stage where
But otherwise, they're
once
ignored.
that is it. Because he couldn't do his work, he turned into a clown, so he was sent out.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't meet needs of his needs that he needed. He was meant to have a one-to-one and he didn't have the needs to do it, so he turned into a clown. So then part-time timetable, we went down that same route. But now, yeah, I'm never even putting him back in school. If
No.
he want, I'm going to try and look into college when he's a little bit older. Maybe if you're home educated, you can go earlier.
Yeah.
But right at this moment, what we're doing
It's
works.
fine. It's working.
Yeah.
It works and he's happy again. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the questions we're going to get. We're going to get a lot of parents saying, oh, but they're going to be cut off socially, you know, and I won't be able to do it. I wasn't good in school, so how can I teach my child? And I always say to parents that say that, well, if school failed you, what makes you think they won't fail your child as well?
And you've got so much now, like we've got lots of online.
Yeah.
I've been told by so many different people, if you know, if you fancy this, there's all these online stuff that you can always
So much
go
is
to.
free.
Yeah, yeah. So if you did want to do something that is a bit more strict, like make you feel better, doing a bit more curriculum based, you can do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
You
go
can
out
get
and
so
pay
much
for it.
stuff from W.H. Smith, The Works, even
Yeah.
Poundland. All of them do workbooks that are reasonable.
We got all the like what are they, the stats books and things like that.
Yeah.
River does maths. As I say, River does maths at home with us, but English turns into a little bit of a clown with me. But that is how we are. We have a laugh and a joke. He doesn't. Whereas, so his tutor is actually his twin's old TA. So he already had that bond with her.
Yeah.
So he does English with her, and as I say, the improvement.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, he was acting a bit of a clown. But he doesn't do that in maths because he struggles more. with
Yeah,
English.
yeah.
So I get that, but with his tutor, we have seen it's been a year.
Yeah.
The improvement in a year is something else.
Yeah.
So I'm not fazed by when people say, oh, I don't. But I was that person as well. I can't teach them.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
But it's doable. It really
Yeah.
is. And I'm sorry, I don't think education really cares when kids are that mentally drained.
Yeah.
I'd rather have my kid happy and
Yeah.
mentally on a level
Mm-hmm.
than sitting there, meeting tick boxes for the
Exactly.
government. That's
Yeah.
how I see it.
That's the way I
And
see
I
it.
don't think you can see. You can't learn if you're sitting there in that state anyway.
No.
Nothing's going in.
I explained in the video that schools won't tell you can home educate because they want the funding for that child.
Bums on seats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're a business.
And especially if they've got an ECHP or something, that's more money
Yeah.
for bums on seats. So they're going to make out they can meet
Yeah.
need.
Yeah,
And I've had that with all of mine. We
Yeah.
can meet need, we can meet need. No, you've got to
that's heartbreaking.
There's
Yeah.
going to be so many traumatised children in the future because seeing what Emmy went through, if that's, well, I've heard it from other children as well, and if that's the common, you know, then all these children are, yeah, they're all being fouled, and the way Emmy was, with the self-harm and everything else, from her age of 9. And I just thought, what is going on? She didn't want to be here. She said that.
I saw how broken she was that morning when I came into the school.
And if I'd kept it for like any longer, I hate to think, because she's been on the list for CAMS for 18 months.
Oh, and she's autistic. They're not going to take her.
Oh, I've got that as well.
Yeah, and it's like, well, what am I meant to do with my child that doesn't want to be here anymore? And it's all because of school. And so then when you get social services and they come home or you get the calls, what's changed? Why are they behaving like this? Nothing's changed. It's because I'm forcing her to go to school every day because I felt that's what I had to do.
Yeah. I said that there's parents having to drag their kids in. They used to drag your daughter out of the car, didn't they?
She used to get dragged out of the car.
By teachers.
Yeah, she used to literally hold on to the fence. The teachers would just stand there looking at us. No one wanted to help.
Yeah.
And it was just like, why am I doing this to my daughter? They'd ring me, by 11, half 11, and she'd be home all day. So that there's no point.
Yeah.
That was River. I'd go in and I'd drop him off in the car park, watch him walk in. By the time I got out of the car park, he was out. How did you do that? Was that skillful?
Yeah, Eddie used to escape,
So
and I wish
what's the point?
I'd known to do it for my other child
What's
as
my
well,
point?
because from year 2, all that time, and I remember phoning me up and saying that they thought that he wouldn't be so stubborn, but he's now soaked through because he's been in the playground just standing there for 2 hours in a row.
I remember you telling me
It's
that.
like, why? Why did it get to that? I could have had him at home,
Yeah.
and we could have been learning. And he wouldn't have been the child that he was being there. But they used to drag Emmy out of the car.
It's money.
Until Emmy would call them abusers. And
But she weren't wrong.
Exactly.
She
Looking
was
at
not
it now,
wrong.
and I just think, oh my God, she was telling the truth. Then they refused to come out to the car and get her, and I had to get her in, and then I would be told to leave, and because apparently she was fine once I
Fine
left.
the minute you leave.
Yeah, I got used to that.
Yeah.
She was
The thing
fine.
is, if children were in school begging not to go home, crying not to go home,
Yeah, I
holding
think
onto the fence when their mum's trying to pull them to take them home,
Yeah.
what would the school say?
Yeah, I said that to the social worker
Yeah.
to watch one day when we brought her in. I said,
Yeah.
if a child was doing this, and the school would call you, would you send the child home? And she just looked at me and she said, I know how hard this is. And it was that time when the social worker came that Emmy actually said to me that when we went to the office, that was the worst time that she was dragged by 2 teachers. So we were literally the other side of a wall, me and a social worker, and they done that. It's like,
And they can do that with mum and social worker in the building.
And it's actually legal. It is legal for teachers to drag a child. I found out. It's called reasonable force.
a lot of the time I found the office ladies as well when they
Yeah.
had to deal with it, and I used to say to them, like, they'd talk, they wouldn't like pour or anything, but they'd try and talk and persuade them in, and I'd say to them, like, I appreciate you trying to help, but it's not their job to have to do, so why is
You
it,
can take it if you need it.
it's just, there doesn't seem to be the staff members, and if I would go there and say, I can't get her in, what do I do? Oh, well, we can't come and help, we're really busy at the moment, maybe drive around the block and come back again. Sometimes I would spend hours outside that school. I couldn't. So when people say if I take my child from school, I'm not going to get nothing done, it gets to a point when you can't
Don't
get
do
nothing
it
done
anyway,
anyway.
yeah.
You're either going to get a call,
Yeah.
or you're going to be stuck there trying to get your child in all day
Well, to
long.
this
Yeah.
day, my youngest, I go past at lunchtime. I take him in. He goes in late and he comes home early because he doesn't deal with crowds.
Yeah.
And I go past at lunchtime, and if I see him upset in the playground, or if I don't see him in the playground, I ring the office. Where's my son? Because my son goes to the office ladies. He has a lovely bond with them.
Yeah.
They are his safe people, and he leaves Timothy, his bird, his teddy, with them. They look after it all day because he doesn't want other people touching it. So he goes there for a cuddle. If I don't see him, I'm taking him. It's really that simple. If he's crying, I'm taking him.
Yeah.
And
And schools will try and tell you, you're not allowed to do
yeah,
that.
but yes, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm already driving past, so I'm sure it's not going to be long till we get to that stage that, what's
Yeah.
the point? But right at this moment, it's going okay, but...
But you know what the best thing is? There's an option. And so
Yeah.
many people
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know
yeah,
that there's an
definitely.
option.
100%.
And they go
As
home
soon as
feeling
I-
broken. They've left their kids sobbing, and they're being told by professionals, well, you'll fail them if you take them out.
My
Yeah.
first one, mental health, was something
Yeah.
else. I got River at before
Yeah.
we got to that stage, and I would not let him get to that stage
Yeah.
after watching how broken, because I didn't know then. But now you know those laws and regulations and that.
Yeah.
It's not gonna
There's
happen.
so much contradiction I find in schools because the amount of courses I was sent on, and then I try and do
Parent
what,
course.
I try and do
Yeah, your child's broken. Go on a parenting course. It must be you. It must be
You
you.
try and follow that through, and then you find out that the staff staff are doing complete opposite, and how is that ever going to work anyway?
Yeah.
So I don't think the staff even go on these courses, and I truly don't think they understand that, you know, autism is a spectrum. And so just because you're not seeing something or you're denying it, and I was told before I was copying behaviour because 3 of mine have got it, so each time I thought it would be easier, and it was like, no, it's copying behaviour. And it's like,
A neurotypical child wouldn't copy
but then
an autistic child.
No. And
They wouldn't find the stim soothing or anything like
and it was
that.
completely different things she was coming out with. And then the SEN lady would offer her a teddy bear, but then it would get taken off her own class because all the other children would get distracted by it. I had to fight for her to have a chewy, and she was biting the inside of her mouth till it bled. But they were saying you can't have a chewy.
I still do that for comfort.
Yeah, and it's like the contradictions in there. These children, they need to have that comfort. And mental health matters. They were celebrating that at school. But if it matters so much, then why are they leaving these children to become so traumatised?
Thank you so much, all 3 of you, for that. I hope it will help some parents. I know it will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.